Coming up on NewsNite, we take you on this year's Sugar Plum Tour in video. We learn how the funds raised on that tour are put to good use in this community. And if you haven't made plans for New Year's Eve, check out what we have to tell you about First Night Akron. That's next on NewsNite. Welcome to NewsNite for the holiday season of 2012. I'm Jody Miller. This is a perfect time to spotlight two extraordinary events in this community. New Year's Eve's celebration of First Night Akron, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the program, and the Sugar Plum Tour. Well, earlier this month, there were 5 lavishly decorated homes that were part of the Sugar Plum Tour. And while it has taken place already, what we're hoping to do this time is to whet your appetite for next year's tour. We are joined by Stephen Schmid, who is here representing the Gay Community Endowment Fund, and Rosemary Raymond, who is on the tour committee for the Sugar Plum Tour. And we're going to find out as much as we can in a few minutes here about an extraordinary event. So thank you both for joining us.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
I want to start with kind of some basics about the 11th annual Sugar Plum Tour. How did this start? When did this start? Steve?
So the first Sugar Plum Tour was held in December of 2002. So this is our 11th Sugar Plum Tour. And the tour was actually founded as an opportunity to acquaint residents of Akron with the work of the Gay Community Endowment Fund, with the mission of the fund, and to really provide some holiday festivity surrounding all of that. So we thought it was a great combination, and the tour has proven very successful over the years.
Well, Rosemary, you said it's kind of the start of the holiday tradition for a lot of people.
It certainly is. People look forward every year to go on this tour.
How are the homes chosen?
We have a Sugar Plum Tour committee, and one of the members of that committee for the last 11 years has taken responsibility for selecting the homes that are on the tour. And that's a result, in many cases, of his knowledge of the homes. He's an interior designer and decorator, so he knows many of the homes and many of the home owners. But we've also had, over the years, individuals who've self-identified as being willing to have their home on the tour in a subsequent year. So it's a combination of those kinds of referrals and information that we have about homes in the community.
Does it take a lot of arm twisting to get people on the tour?
At times, we offer many things. We'll come and help. We'll dust. We'll take you here and do that. But it's always a joy for them. They always have smiles on their face at the end of the day.
Well, what we're going to do is something different here for NewsNite. We had an opportunity, as I said earlier in the month, to literally do a video walkthrough of some of the homes on the tour. And so now what we're going to do is give you an idea of what you could see in some of these homes. And Rosemary and Steve, you're going to help me kind of walk through each of these homes. It started with a home on Merriman Road. And Rosemary, what was special about this particular home?
Well, these people were friends of mine, so I was the arm twister, but it didn't take much. The home was built about 1910, and the wife's parents bought it. So the wife was raised in this home. And there are many collections from Mom and Dad, and my friend loves genealogy and has studied both the families, so pieces of furniture, artifacts, just joyful things that they have collected through the years are beautifully displayed in this home, and the wife and husband went overboard in putting it all together to display.
One of the things that I loved about this home was the sunroom that was converted into a candy store.
Yes.
Do you know the story behind that?
Yes, I do. Jennifer's father died rather young. The mother was just so vivacious and loving and outward engaged, and she was extremely depressed in the death of her husband. So the family got together and they collected things in the household and pulled them all together to create a candy store from the father's office. So it went from a place that she was very sad and wouldn't go in, to a place of great joy and something to share with the family.
And it is so beautifully
Oh, it
decorated
is.
for Christmas. It's amazing.
It is.
The second home on this year's tour was a gorgeous place, one of my favorites on Nob Hill. So tell us a little bit about that one. Steve, are you familiar with that?
I know a little bit about the history of the home. The home actually occupies 3 city lots on Nob Hill and has been extensively renovated over the years. I believe that there was a fire in one of the original structures.
Yeah, the house that was there prior to the current owners burnt to the ground.
Yes.
And then the current owners bought in '87, so they built a little Cape Cod. And as their family grew, the house grew. It's 3 times bigger than it was initially. So it went from a very traditional Cape Cod to a more contemporary feeling, open spaces, different levels, suites, grand master suite.
A lot of light, wonderful light streaming into almost every room in the home. It's a very, very inviting home and had been beautifully decorated for the tour.
I love standing at the balcony and looking down over the balcony into the living room. And then the dining room was to die for, with the black and white colors and the trees. Have you ever used the same home on the tour?
Well, I don't think that we've ever actually used the same home, but one particular couple through the years has lived in different houses, and 4 of their houses have been used. You know, as they move, and they're great decorators, and they open their homes 4 different times.
It's amazing. We're going to continue the tour. We went next to the Borton Avenue home. So tell us a little bit about this home.
Well, that's in my neighborhood. That's Highland Square. The neighborhood was a trolley car allotment, so the houses are close together. You know, many people did not have cars when those homes were built. And there were many arts and crafts style homes, and that would have beautiful woodwork and quarter sawn oak. So the owner that was there first, the partner came later in the development or redoing of this house. The owner that was there first stripped all the woodwork and really brought out the highlights of this gorgeous quarter sawn oak. And this fellow was from Nebraska, and he had a love of nature and eagles. So there are many eagles and artwork around, and there's a great love of Christmas and family, and many family members have given them ornaments and decorations through the years. And they put a tree up in every single solitary room.
Yeah, there were like 18 trees in this house?
Yes, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the one was the marathon tree?
One. Yes.
Marathon tree.
Well, one of the fellows is a marathon runner.
Okay.
And he piped up and said, I'm going to do a marathon tree this year. And his partner said, oh, well, we have so many other trees. I don't know. And I encouraged him to do it. And he submitted pictures to Runner's Magazine.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And there's so much character and so personal.
And on that particular tree, the star on top of the tree is a running shoe.
That's
so
right.
it's amazing. The 4th home on the tour was not far from Borton. It was on West Market Street.
I really love architecture and historic architecture, and this house was designed by Mead and Hamilton. Mead and Hamilton designed the O'Neill home, you know, the bed and breakfast,
sure.
And also the Hermit Club in Cleveland and many prestigious places in Cleveland. And many of their structures are on the National Register of Historic Places. So this place had good bones, you know, stone exteriors and monumental design. And it is actually owned by someone else who is renting it. So these kind people only living there a few months. And they're friends of yours, Steve.
They are friends of mine.
Yes.
I did the arm twisting on that one.
But they said, sure, we'll do it. And her mother helped, and it's done in a very stately manner. There's one room that's a sugar plum room. Yes, with sugar plum fairies and nutcrackers and
candy canes all over the chandelier.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that one was a more traditional home, but it had modern features, and the actual owner had done some alterations and put in some party rooms that were rather unexpected.
Yes, when you were on the tour. You're
Yes,
absolutely right
yes.
about that. Norton was the site of the 5th home on the tour this year. It was a farmhouse. Tell us about this one.
The Brenner family started that farm back in 1876, and then eventually 4 generations of the same family lived in the home. The current owners wanted to find a place that they could renovate. They wanted to do a redo of a historic or older structure. So there were actually 2 houses side by side, an 1876 house and a 1910 with a shared wall. And so when the owners bought it, they had to really take down the older house and rebuild it. And the 1910 house, they renovated, from soup to nuts, or nuts
Soup
to
to
desserts.
nuts. Right. What were some of the holiday highlights in this particular home?
Well, they're quite collectors. And there were pieces from their past. And the wife, when she was a little kid, she would go antique shopping with her father. And he would buy fine English antiques, and she would buy the little bottle or the little box. So the displays are incorporating their antiques. There are Santas and live trees and little ornaments that they've collected through the years. And both of them were educators. There are areas that there might be old children's books or things from their profession, And since it was a farm, there are a lot of farm machines or buckets or implements to give a nod to the farm and the history of the location.
Santa Claus was also
Yes,
present at that particular location. This was one of Santa's helpers here locally. Russ Pry, Summit County's executive.
Oh, I thought it was the real Santa.
Well, the real Santa is really busy at this time of the year. So Russ, who's almost as good as the real Santa,
I love Russ.
made a guest appearance on behalf of Santa Claus. So it was very special.
Absolutely. Well, all of the homes are very special, but then there is also a 6th home on the tour, which is the patron home.
Yes.
So we didn't film that one, but that's a highlight of the tour. And the tickets for that sell out extraordinarily quickly, correct?
Yes. I think 260 this year?
Yeah, I think the patron tickets sold out within a matter of 30 to 40 minutes after they were put online for sale. So there's always been a high level of interest in the patron home. And as you can imagine, only so many folks can fit into even the largest homes in Akron. And so I wish we could accommodate everybody who has an interest in attending the patron party. But it was a great party, a wonderful family that hosted the party in their home. And I think we had 250 or 260 patrons, so quite a large
Bodes
number of
well
guests.
for the entire project.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Steve, tell us a little bit about the results from this year's tour, the numbers that came out.
Well, we are just so excited because we had the highest number of tour goers in the 11-year history of the tour. 780 tour goers navigated their way through the homes, and the tour netted over $72,000 in support of the work of the Gay Community Endowment Fund. So, for a one-day event that everybody leaves feeling good about, it was a great outcome. And this is the largest amount of money that we've raised in the 11-year history. And I want to just give a quick shout out to the event chair, Steve Williams, who really did
a masterful job.
The lion's share of the work in pulling all of this together. So this is Steve and his committee did a great job.
Well, tell us a little bit more, if you would, about the Gay Community Endowment Fund and what it does.
Sure. The Gay Community Endowment Fund was actually founded in 2001, and it was founded because there really wasn't an opportunity for individuals within the gay and lesbian community or for supporters of the gay and lesbian community to contribute philanthropically in a directed way. So in 2001, we founded the Gay Community Endowment Fund as one of the family of funds of the Akron Community Foundation. So through the Akron Community Foundation, which manages the assets of the Gay Community Endowment Fund, there is a permanent philanthropic fund taking advantage of the generosity of individuals here within the community and supporting programs and services specifically that benefit the gay and lesbian community, but also the entire community.
What are some of those programs?
So we have distributed through 2012 about $185,000 in total funds returned to the community to support a variety of services and programs. And I've got a little cheat sheet here because I didn't want to neglect anyone. But in 2012, we've contributed funds to the Battered Women's Shelter, to the Domestic Violence Project, which is a Stark County project. So the reach of the Gay Community Endowment Fund is throughout the Akron area. Fair Housing Services, Friends of 91.3 The Summit, Fusion Magazine from Kent State University, the Jewish Family Service of Akron, the Transgender, Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Union at the University of Akron, PFLAG, and Weathervane Community Playhouse. So oftentimes these grants are relatively small in amount, $1,500 to $2,000, but for the organizations with specific programs that have been supported, this is an important gift to them to have them meet their mission.
Sure. There is also something new in the Gay Community Endowment Fund this year. You've just started a scholarship, have you not?
We have, and this is a scholarship which is designed to support post-secondary education for LGBT students and supporters who live in the geographic region supported by the Gay Community Endowment Fund. And the fund was actually seeded by a pledge from one of our board members, Dr. Pat Rubin, and she made a gift in the form of an opportunity for others to match that gift so that we can raise the dollars that we need to make these scholarships available. So we're very excited about this because this is another way that we can serve the community through the Gay Community Endowment Fund.
Sure. What is it about the Sugar Plum Tour that seems to appeal to everybody?
Well, you know, each one of the homes are different. Some are contemporary, some are older homes, some are have a more professional look to them, but most are just opened with the love of community and very family-oriented, and people look forward to it every year. It's become a tradition. People actually cannot wait until those tickets are on sale. You saw how fast the patrons' tickets sell out. People line up. I think it's going to be something that will go on for generations.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for family and friends to gather together. I mean, most often you see groups of people touring together. We have tour goers who do tailgates. Before they, they arrive.
They start on the tour.
Yeah, they arrive in the neighborhood and do a little tailgate party, and then visit the home, and then plan their next stop and do the same thing, and just have a lot of fun being with one another. And we left the home on Cleveland-Maslin Road yesterday, and there was a conversation of a couple behind us who just said, "Hasn't this just been the most wonderful day? Everybody is so warm and welcoming, and it really puts everyone in the holiday spirit." So I think that's what it's all about.
Well, I want to thank both of you for being with us.
You're very welcome.
And I know that we will all look forward to the 12th annual Sugar Plum Tour next year. And I want to encourage you to go to newsnight.net, where we will have a lot of information about the Gay Community Endowment Fund as well as the Sugar Plum Tour.
For more NewsNight content, including extended discussions, full interviews, and the chance to speak your mind about the issues, join us online at newsnight.net.
Well, for New Year's Eve, First Night Akron has been part of the lives of tens of thousands of people for the past 17 years. If you haven't got plans already for New Year's, it's time to make them for First Night Akron. And joining us is Sharon Gilberg, who is Communications Director for Downtown Akron Partnership, to tell us about some of the activities and the plans for this year's First Night. Sharon, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Tell us, if you would please, some of the basics of First Night, if anybody has not been part of it.
Sure. Well, First Night is a family-friendly, alcohol-free celebration of downtown Akron, of the arts, of everything downtown has to offer. This year we're celebrating our 17th year, and it takes place Monday, December 31st from 6 p.m. to midnight.
And what kind of venues do you have? I mean, if people come down to downtown Akron, what are they going to do?
Sure. A lot of people have the misconception that First Night is all outside, and if it's cold and snowy, you know, they don't want to be out. And actually, it's just the opposite. We have 10 venues, and 9 of them are all indoor. So 90% of the activities take place inside, and they're all downtown Akron, ranging from the Civic Theater to the museum, the library, Jonas Knight Center, shops at Akron Center, and then there is an outdoor stage, the main stage, which is on Main Street. That's where some of the outdoor stuff takes place.
So in those different venues, there are different activities scheduled?
Yes, in all of the venues, there are about 80 plus activities planned. And it's everything from musical performances, we've got kids' crafts, make and take, there are bands, acoustical guitarists, really a wide range dance, a lot of things for just about anybody to enjoy.
Oh, do you still do the weddings?
We do. This year it's not going to be at midnight, but we're still doing a mass wedding and the renewals. That will take place this year at the Akron Civic Theater on the Grand Staircase, which will be a wonderful backdrop for exchanging your vows. So we're real excited about that. That'll take place at 9 o'clock this year.
One of the things that is so much fun is, of course, at midnight is the fireworks celebration. Where is that now?
The fireworks is shot off from behind the Civic Theater, and the main one is at midnight. First Merit Foundation is our fireworks sponsor, but we actually have a fireworks at 9 o'clock, the kids' fireworks. And that's for, you know, those that have young ones that maybe don't want to stay down as late. They can still experience the fireworks display.
How about food? Are there things to eat?
There are many restaurants just already open on New Year's Eve, but then most of the venues that are hosting activities will have concessions and food available. Yes.
How do you get into First Night?
Well, we have the First Night admission buttons, which it changes each year. They are $10 a piece. Children under 10 are free. And with the button on your that you wear, it gets you into all of the venues. It actually gets you onto the Metro bus, which has a continuous loop free through all of the First Night footprint. So there's very little walking in between if you would not like to walk.
And where can people get the button?
They are available for sale on our website, which is firstnightakron.org, and then there are a number of locations in the city. Acme Fresh Markets, all of their locations sell them, participating First Merit Bank branches, and then there are a few places outside of downtown as well. So a lot of places to get them.
You mentioned that the wedding ceremony is going to be different this year. Anything else new that you really want to highlight for this year's First Night?
Well, we've got a couple of new things. In the John S. Knight Center, Time Warner Cable is bringing us the Air Aquarium, which is going to be on the upper level. There will be a life-size blue whale inflatable that you can walk through and experience and see how large a blue whale is, which we're real excited about. And that whole room will kind of have an aquatic theme. We'll have some helium remote-controlled air swimmers that will be flying all around in there. All of the entertainment and music will also have that same theme. People will be dressed as sea nymphs and pirates and really have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And then it's not a new one, but it was very popular last year, and we're bringing it back a little bit bigger, is the Hall of Resolution, which is a small tabletop area, not too small. It's got about 10 vendors. So if you haven't made a New Year's resolution and you're looking for help on losing weight, to stop smoking, to get organized, there will be all kinds of tools there for you as well.
Who funds First Night, Sharon?
Well, we do have grants that we receive from many local communities that help pay for the entertainment and the venues. And then we also have sponsors that come on board to help put everything together.
But a lot of what you do has to be done and generated by volunteers, correct?
Yes, volunteers are essential to First Night. They are the face of First Night. They greet people. They help on the bus serve as tour guides. They check for buttons at the admissions for the admission areas, and we need hundreds of them. So we do have plenty of volunteer opportunities available. Depending on what your skill is, what you'd like to do, we can find a place for you.
If someone has never been to First Night, what is something that you could say that might get them to come down to downtown Akron on New Year's Eve?
I think just the wide range of activities that there are, and to experience many different types of entertainment. If you wanted to go dancing, there's a venue at Greystone Hall that's just going to be dancing. If you've got young ones, there's all kinds of kids' crafts. There's caricature artists. There's just so many things that you can experience that I think really helps celebrate the arts and the excitement that's downtown.
Is the Steel Drum Band going to be back again this year?
Yes, the Steel Drum Band is back. They are performing in one of the venues, and then they'll actually be part of our countdown to the midnight fireworks, which will be a whole group of singers and drummers and bands performing Some Nights, which is one of the big hits by Fun. We'll be putting our own twist on that as we count down to midnight.
Well, if people want to find out more information about First Night Akron, how do they get in touch with you? Where do they look?
The best place to go if you want to see what the venues are, the times, the places to buy buttons, who's performing, descriptions, all of that is on our website. It's very comprehensive. It's at firstnightakron.org. We also have an event guide that Akron Life magazine put together for us that has much of the same information. That's on newsstands now if you don't have a subscription.
Well, Sharon, thank you so much for being with us and for letting us know about what First Night this year is going to be like.
Yes, thank you.
And we want to thank you for joining us on this edition of NewsNite. And from all of us at Western Reserve PBS, we hope you have a holiday that's filled with family, fun, and festivity. Good night.